Hey everyone, welcome back to the Athlete CEO Podcast. I'm your host, Erik Averill, and on this podcast, we are focused on how do we help you increase and drive the greatest impact on your net worth, which is your human capital. And so today I'm joined again by my great friend, our resident PhD of performance psychology, the founder of All Things Performance, Josiah Igono. Welcome back.
E, what's up, man?
Man, excited to dive into this conversation because where we left off last time we were together was talking about how do we actually build skills and habits of performance that are foundational, that will move us from where we're at today to achieving those outcomes and those goals that we've set forth for ourselves or for our families or our organizations. And I want to talk about the first one that you and I have chatted about prior, focal points. There's so much noise, right? Like that's the understatement of the century. Information overload, middle of COVID, noise. What are focal points and how do they help?
Focal points, man, first of all, great to be here again, and great question. So a focal point is, if we're talking about an athletic performance, for instance, or even if you're talking about giving a speech in front of 1,000 people, whatever the case may be, a focal point is somewhere in the performance field whereby I can just anchor my thoughts and I can just kind of, take those 10 to 50,000 thoughts that are racing through my mind and calm it down and zero in on what I'm about to do next. And so when you look at a focal point, for instance, if you're an athlete, it could be a field goal post. It could be left field foul pole. It's somewhere that typically is stationary, that's not going to move during competition, whereby I use three words: find, attach, attack. So you want to find a place in your performance field that's stationary. You find it, then you attach. You can attach a command word, something like "let's go," or "I got this," or "smooth," "breathe." It can be a memory. You can attach a memory of, your kids. One of my players that I used to work with, he attaches area code. He said, "I'm doing this for, fill in the blank area code," because he remembers his community, his family, that propelled him into the major leagues. And then you attack. You do what God bless you to do. So you find the focal point. You attach a feeling, a deep breath, an emotion, a command word, and then you attack. You just do what you do.
Man, it's helpful. It reminds me of a few things. Number one, you're putting words in, and what was the process when I pitched right at Arizona State or in professional baseball? It was essentially stepping on that mound, clearing the mechanism, the way you toe a specific, portion of the rubber and attacking the strike zone. So I think of that. I'm also reminded of reading in Brendon Bouchard's book, High Performance Habits, talking about how he essentially identified the doorpost. He attached specific words that set his attention that when I walk through this door, this is where I'm locked in. And so that's super helpful in understanding that how is that connected to a lot of what I hear, and I know I desire for myself, is like, I want to stay present. I want to be in the moment. I want to be in the flow. Like, why is that so difficult to do without focal points, or what are some other ways that we can utilize focal points?
I mean, you can use, so if you think about it, right, we're always trying, there's a mental battle that we all have every day, and we're fighting for clarity. We want to think clearly, and we want to be able to manage, I think I shared this on a prior podcast, our mood, emotions, and our feelings. We want clarity. Think about it. If you don't have clarity in what you're doing or what you have going on for that day or that competition or, that big presentation, if you don't have clarity, what does that do to you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm foggy. I'm literally guessing, right?
Exactly. And the same thing for managing mood, emotions, feelings. If you feel like you can't manage your mood, emotions, and feelings, what does that do to you?
Oh my, yeah. Train wreck.
It's a train wreck. So we're fighting for this thing called clarity and just mental stability. That's what we're fighting for. And so, to your question, being able to take those thoughts that are racing, those dilemmas that we're playing out in our mind, the if and scenarios, the if then, all these scenarios that we're playing out. A focal point is awesome because what it does, it has both, somatic and psychological ramifications. So what I mean by that is that it affects both our mind and our body, right? So we find the focal point, and what happens is those 10,000 thoughts that I had become one or become a few, right? And then when I attach those words, right, whatever it is, like calm, smooth, all right, just relax. If you're dealing with a kid, that's causing problems at home, or whether you're dealing with, some people have genuine anger issues. Like little things set them off, and anger is not bad. It's usually what we do after we're angry. You know what I'm saying? That's the bad thing.
Right.
And so finding those focal points allows us to create space to think. Right? Viktor Frankl. I love Viktor Frankl's work, man. Just an amazing human being, and what came out of him was just awesome. And man's search for meaning. He said, between stimulus and response, there is a space. And in that space is our ability to choose. And in our choice lies our growth and our freedom. We always have a choice. We always have this ability to choose. And what happens with a focal point is that it lengthens the space. So it's not reading, knee-jerk reactions all the time, right? Like, oh man, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. This is stressful. This person's, pissing me off, and this is a high-stakes situation. I got to throw this strike to get out of the inning. Like, between stimulus and response, there is a space, and in that space is our ability to choose, and in that choice lies our growth and our freedom. So the focal point, guess what it does? It opens up this space and allows me to think clearly and win that battle for clarity.
Yeah, it's getting me excited. I mean, what I hear it almost stops time for you.
Yeah.
Right? Instead of the game speeding up or a presentation speeding up, or even an intense conversation with a spouse, or, I've got 3 little kiddos right now, and I'm figuring out that they don't always like to obey, and they've got their own program going on. And a lot of times I'll walk through the door and I'm still carrying what happened at work, and I'll want to react quickly, as opposed to being able to go, what's the intention? What's the clarity? What's the relationship that I want to bring? The energy that I want to bring? The desired result of what I want my child to experience with me. If I haven't set that intention, and I think of these focal points, I'd never thought about. I've done it as an athlete. I've done it as a business owner, but I've never done that at home. To think about, it could actually help me have a better relationship and experience with my family at home.
Yeah.
So that's absolutely impactful. And one of the things that I'd love to hear you talk about, because this is all interrelated and connected, it's stopping to even understand and experience what's going on emotionally in that moment, so that you can figure out, what is the focal point I need? What's the word that I need to attach to it?
No, I mean, this is I love this. So I want to go back to what you had said earlier, in terms of, it's almost like it stops time, right? So forgive me guys, but it was either Don Wakamatsu or Luis Ortiz, hitting coach for the Rangers and bench coach for the Rangers. I love having these types of conversations with those guys, and a bunch of those guys over there. And they said something in a meeting. I think it was a hitters meeting, and it was one of those things whereby time doesn't stop.
Yeah,
time doesn't stop. We think it speeds up. Sometimes we think it slows down. When we're nervous, when we have stressful situations, like it spirals. But at the end of the day, a second is a second. A minute is a minute. You know what I'm saying? Time doesn't stop. But when you have these focal points and some of these mental skills in place, what it does is it actually allows you to have control.
Yes.
Time is not, leading me. I'm telling time where to go.
Yes.
And that's what's powerful about being able to fill up that space, right, between stimulus and response. It's like time. A second is still a second, but the control, the ownership of that time, I'm now telling it where to go. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of my analogies, of course, are going to be around money, but it's what we talk about a spending plan around a budget is. We always say we're not the budget police. It's your money. You can do whatever you want with it. What we're trying to do is making sure that your money, every dollar has a job to be used to accomplish your priorities.
Yes.
So it's the same way as we know that we actually believe investing in yourself is the best investment you can make, but the most finite resource that there is on the planet is time.
Yeah.
And because once it's gone, it's not coming back. There's no way to recover the minutes or the seconds that are gone. And so if we don't have an intention set for that, if we don't have a purpose, a lot of times I think it's the subconscious anxiety that it's like, I'm just kind of existing. And that's not the way we're created. We're not created to exist.
No.
We're created to flourish.
Yes.
And so hearing you talk about this of, do you have clarity when you walk into a room? Have that focal point, because I feel like the other thing it could help us do, we live in such a fast-paced world, right? We're on our cell phones. We're going from Zoom, now it's Zoom meeting to Zoom meeting to Zoom meeting, that it's exhausting.
Yeah.
That having certain focal points set up in spaces can help us slow down,
Yes.
to be present, and to actually make sure we're enjoying the moments the way that they should be enjoyed.
Man, you said it perfectly, man. That's spot on.
Yeah. You know, for the audience, one of the great things that Josiah has been willing to do for us, as you know, is if you head over to the show notes, athleteco.com, we're providing the actual manuals and the guides, and he's got some incredibly helpful stuff on focal points. Once again, defining what it is, but also the strategies on how to implement those things. And so I encourage you to head over there. I'm sure you're not the only one who's trying to figure out how to flourish in your life and to increase your human capital. And so I encourage you to share this information with your fams, friends, teammates, business workers. And so we appreciate your guys' attention. Until next time, stay humble, stay hungry, and always be a pro.